So I don't normally stream like this, just throwing content out there, but I just had a conversation with one of the regular chatters, Young Ritter, and something came up that I really wanted to get on record and record it, get it out to some more channels, because I want to. I feel like it's one of those things that people need to hear in terms of a hot take, I guess. So we were talking, and one of the things I ended up rounding on was a throwaway line in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. For those who haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a while or forget the plot, the idea is S.H.I.E.L.D. is building these helicarriers to confront threats. They have a predictive algorithm that Hydra is using to predict threats to their world order. And they're going to throw these 3 helicarriers into the air, and it's going to immediately just completely rock the world and take out people who are undermining Hydra's authority. Now, it's the Captain America movies in general are really, really good. I highly recommend them. Somebody once wrote that they were what Superman movies should be. They were Cap not just as a superhero, but as a moral person confronting moral conundrums and what that means to him as kind of this paragon. Another post pointed out that Steve is in his 20s. We're seeing him at like 21 in the Avengers, and he's only in his 20s by the time we see the end of the first phase, the 5th phase, the first arc of the Avengers in Endgame. So, spoilerific things coming. As a heads up, I'm going to give you a real quick countdown before I start spoiling things. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. So, you find out Hydra is infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think that's spoilerific from before, but I digress. As in what I was saying before. Of course, it was before they've released it. So, the program, there's a point where Steve is talking to Arnim Zola, who's now a captured consciousness, an uploaded consciousness, and really neat interpretation of Arnim Zola, and I think it was a really good translation into cinematic, a cinematic space. So you have this conversation happening between them where Arnim Zola is revealing Hydra's plot to Steve, where they've been in control, they infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., that's how Hydra works. And the plan, thank you, Sai, the plan is that Hydra has is to take out threats to their world order, right? As I said before. The thing is, if you listen to they're interrogating a guy after that. I forget the agent's name, but Stillwell. I think so. I think it's Agent Stillwell. That they're interrogating on a rooftop. They've just yeah. I just thought I needed to get in. So they're interrogating Stillwell, and Stillwell reveals that the algorithm that Zola came up with targets not these nefarious ne'er-do-wells that S.H.I.E.L.D. wants to target, but in fact targets individuals who are somehow loosening the hold that Hydra has on the world. And when he starts talking about them, he mentions Stephen Strange, and then he starts talking about, a professor here, a Little League coach there. And you need to capture that moment. Because in that moment, what he's revealing is that Hydra knows that every single good person on the earth, every person who is trying to make positive change, is out of their control and is a threat to their way of doing things, is a threat to their crystallized lawful society, right? Because they are completely lawful evil, to use the D&D alignment chart. So let's put that into perspective. Every single one of us, any of us who goes out into the world and starts trying to help people see a better way of doing things. The Little League coach who tries to help the kids feel better about themselves and go out into the world and do better things, to treat others a better way, to compete with sportsmanship in a healthy way, to approach things from a positive mindset of making each other stronger instead of toxic competition. Right? Because toxic competition is real easy to grind against and cause pressure with and control with. When you have somebody who's engaging things on their terms, you don't have control over them. You can't poke at them to make them react the way you want. When they're engaging it in a way that is conscious, is conscientious, it's not emotionally reactive. So then you look back on your life and think about the people who would be targeted that way. Think about yourself. Would you be targeted that way? Would you be targeted that way because you put your grocery cart back? You show a level of consciousness and care that threatens their order. Because you can't be poked into panic. Because you can't be poked into rush. You do the thing that is kind, that helps somebody else. Not because it's an expectation, but because it pays something forward. You know, the point of Cap's character, to a degree, paying things forward, taking what we can, and for he and Sam, to a degree, and especially if you read the some of the later material about the Super Soldier Project, trying to take what was a very dark project, a very dark time in history, and make it right by taking the power that's given to you by that system and using it to serve good, using it to pay forward on a promise of equity, of justice, of hope, which is why Steve is targeted by one of those Hydra cannon things. So I think that's kind of the conclusion I'm going to leave with here. I have no idea how. I've been on for 6 minutes, so that's not too bad. And this is going to go up on YouTube and whatnot, because I like the idea of it. But go out and be somebody that Hydra would target. Go out and give somebody hope. Go out and help somebody see that the world isn't all crap. That the world has some nice stuff in it. And that the dandelion growing up through the cracks is better than a lawn full of grass. Because it survives and it gives us something. And I think I'm going to leave you with that, is just that line right there. Go out and be somebody Hydra considers a threat. So once again, I will not be streaming tomorrow, Friday. I'll be back on Monday at 11:30. Everybody have a great weekend, and I love y'all.